Let's do computer, I think. I think my cloud's full. All right, I think we're good to go. Awesome. So I'll share my screen. You guys know how to get to it. Yeah, actually, I think I'll just log in because I wasn't in it anyway. Sorry, I'll just log in now. So good to see your faces though, even if I see the girls on Instagram. I kind of tend to speak to you guys every day, but yeah, it's good to see you guys. All right,
Yeah,
so we get to
and your way
being away from the group chats, isn't it? But
yeah.
No, we really appreciate you coming on and.
Oh no, don't worry. This is nothing, darling. Oh my goodness, this is nothing. It's nothing out of my time. So you get to strategies if you just don't know where the harmonic is, but it's just through strategies and scroll down. There is the harmonics. Now the harmonics is included in the basic package, so it's a really good, it's 80% accurate, so it's really good. I would only say this because I've used it for a while, and like for the 12 months that I used it in 2018, I made a decent amount of money out of just the scanner. I mean, learning through it and, you know, until I mastered it. And then of course, in 2019, I had to pause to learn a strategy because the guy that got me did not teach a strategy. So I needed to did not have any guidance for me to actually do a strategy. So I needed to find a strategy, and I didn't even know there was an Australian team. And so that's how I paused, paid someone else externally, and then go back into IM after I met Leon. So that's my little story. So as you guys can see, when you log into the scanner, it's got the different time frames. I trade on the H1. Again, you can trade on whatever time frame that you prefer. So 15, 30, or 4 hourly, even daily if you want. But of course, you know, no one does daily as a retail trader. So I just do H1. At the top here, you can see the brokers. Now there's a list of brokers. So all these brokers that are listed, they don't have to align to what you have on your phone. So you just browse through them. They give you different pairs. So some of them have the same kind of pairs that they've picked up. So you can see that it actually saves you doing all the heavy lifting that you would have to do if you go to TradingView, for example. So if you're going to TradingView, you'd have to make your own analysis. So the scanner does this for you, and it's an algorithm, so there's no specific time that is best to trade the scanner. You can trade the scanner anytime, as long as you just log in, check on it. If there's a trade idea, then of course you make your analysis. So just browse through whatever brokers that you want. Of course, eventually you'll find some favorites. For me, I don't really say that I have a favorite, but the old ones that I've always used were FX Choice, Hot Forex were my fave for a long time. And I always find something within, just in between those, and I don't even have to go through the others. GB, don't really like, not that I don't really like it, but it's a new one that's just been added recently. So I just stick to what I know. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which broker you look at, as long as you find the pairs. Now, going through those rules that I sent Jord, I hope you all, oh, I don't know what happened here now. Going through that list of rules. Now, the first rule is identifying obviously what the pattern, the scanner is telling you, whether it's a buy or sell. And you guys obviously know that, so you're not really new. So those rules, actually, let me just take you back again. Those rules are really very good for someone who is very, very new, meaning that, you know, instead of actually giving people signals, like we would say signals on a you know, that you're like, say for example, just sending signals to a new person, they can actually use those rules and apply, and then they can learn to make the analysis themselves and building that confidence. I guess you guys know, you know, trading is all about confidence. When you don't have confidence, you can't, you know, make any, you know, you can't make any big moves in the markets. So basically identifying whether it's a buy or sell. So if I click on H1, I always trade on H1, but you can trade on a smaller time frame, and then just browse through. Now, the second rule I've written as well, identify the pattern. Oh, just on number one, I'm going them over my head, so bear with me if I'm, you know, I'm a bit wishy-washy, but anyway. So identify the patterns that's repeated the most. Now, what that rule says, the patterns are this name. So you can see that if I click on the shark pattern, there's this shape here. And then if I click on the sapphire, it'll be a different shape as well. So those are the patterns. So you can see that the sapphire is a different shape. So those are the different patterns. So identifying a pattern that's repeated the most, and it just shows you that people are winning in those patterns. But in saying that, when I was trading with the scanner doing that, I wasted a lot of time identifying identifying the patterns that repeated the most. Shack is always a very popular pattern. So, but then another thing that I realized, and I'll say that this rule is kind of irrelevant, only because if you look at the trades at the top, like for example, CAD JPY here is a fresh trade. Now a fresh trade, it means that, you know, there's only a few candles that are formed after the D. But then if I look at the bottom of the list or mid halfway of the list, you'll find that the trade has already moved. So it's an old trade. Like this, for example, has already hit take profit 1, and now, you know, heading back down again before maybe if it's going to continue going up. So you don't want to focus so much on the pairs at the bottom because they're old trades. So you want to start at the top and just work your way down. If you don't find something, keep browsing through. Now the second rule is identifying divergence. Now divergence just means opposite, and this is only for, again, these rules, like I said, are for someone who has, you know, who doesn't know, you know how sometimes you want to get into a trade and you don't know when to exit. For example, if you don't have a goal, like, you know, we all at the beginning didn't have a goal, we're just trading, just wishy-washy, trying to figure your way out. So if you're entering a trade and you want to hold it to take profit 3, because sometimes you're like, oh, should I get out, should I get in, or should I, you know, and because you don't have a goal, you don't know even when to get out. So that rule specifically will apply more so for a new person, new person. But you guys, of course, know what it is that you want to get out of the market. So you'll be able to set your goal regardless of the divergence being there or not. But I'm just going to go over it so you understand what it means. Now, divergence is just really, we're trying to identify if this X to D line on the RSI, this relative strength index, if they are opposite. So how I just do it, I just draw a vertical line. So I just draw a straight vertical line from the top to the bottom. You can't draw one straight line. You'd have to draw 4 of them to combine it. And just so you can be able to identify, draw a trend line on the RSI. And you can do that without doing the vertical lines. All you really need to do is just come in here, click on the trend line, change the color to a visual color. I always go black, and just make the line a bit thick so you can see. So you can see if I move my mouse, if I'm trying to align the X, the point where X is marked on the RSI, all I need to do is now align it just all the way down and just click on the cross on the point where they join with my dotted line and drag it across to the other point where it joins. So up to around, I'd say there. So all we're trying to identify if that line is opposite to the one at the bottom on the price line. So if we look at X to D here, it's going up. If we look at this line as well, it's going up. So this to me is saying that there's no divergence. So that's why I'm saying you don't have to draw the vertical lines, but if you can't really see properly, you know, the straight, how when, you know, I'll just draw a vertical line so you see what I mean. You just draw a vertical line, change the color to whatever color, and just make the line a bit thicker. And then all you need to do is just click on the there, and then just combine it, and then click on it again and just click on the RSI and just combine that. And over time, of course, you won't need to draw the vertical lines. It's just time wasting, to be honest. If you can align that without you don't need to do it. So basically you can clearly see they're both going up, so there's no divergence. When there is divergence, it means that that line is going up and the line at the bottom will be going down. So it means that that trade will go to take profit 3. But if you observe the scanner over time, you'll notice that even if there's no divergence, sometimes it will still hit take profit 3. So it means that you can hold your trade longer. Sometimes the scanner will take 2-3 days. And it teaches you a lot of patience. The scanner is like, it will give you a lot of patience. So some trades will take 2 days, 3 days, but to be honest, they always get there, eventually get there. And what I found with the scanner as well, they pick up reversal patterns. So you will notice that if you're trend trading, for example, I'll show you an example of some of the trades that I took this week. They were just, I'll show you in a minute anyway. I'll just go over the rules, and then I'll go over to the chat and just show you what I do when I combine it with a strategy, like a proper strategy. And then, so the next rule is support and resistance. Again, support and resistance is really for a new person. That rule, again, is also for a new person, because you can see where they've put the targets: take profit 3, take profit 1, 2, and 3, and the entry are areas of support and resistance. If you draw a zone, if you use a rectangle, so for someone who's really new, this could be a good way for them to identify these zones, because you can clearly see that those zones are very well respected. So again, if you're, again, if you're setting your own, if you're using TradingView, you can set your own targets. So this is, I only teach this, of course, for very new people. And the reason I use this strategy for my guys is because, I feel like you know, it's important that people make money at a beginner stage, because then the belief system goes to next level. Like I feel like, if you know, again, everyone comes with a different intention. Some people come in with learning the skill set, but majority of the people come with the mindset that they want to make money tomorrow. If they don't make money tomorrow, they'll give up on themselves. So if someone can make money, they see the possibility of actually being patient and sticking through this vehicle regardless of however long it takes. Because again, everyone's different. It could take you a short time, it could take you a long time. So I believe that this kind of is a good start, where it builds your confidence, rather than me telling you get these signals, copy and paste, and you don't even know what you're copying and doing. You're just copying blindly. That's what I think anyway. Because I did trades and I was really copying blindly at the beginning. But again, I made some money, but then at some stage I started to lose money again, because I would enter them late. I didn't even know what I was doing, to be honest. And I think we've all gone through that phase, but you don't even know what you're doing. You're just winging yourself around. So yeah, that rule as well does not apply in trading. It's just for someone to be able to identify those areas. So when you go into TradingView, you can set your own targets looking at support and resistance areas, because again, you can clearly see where the TP1 is. That's, if you look back in time, an area that's been very well respected. So they've given you, they actually, the harmonics kind of spoon feeds you literally everything, literally. You just need to open your mouth, like literally. And then, yeah.
So with the divergence, that doesn't determine whether you actually take that harmonic or not. It's just whether you hold it till TP3.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. With you. Cool.
Yeah.
Right,
and then, no, that's all good. And then the next rule is RSI. So identifying support and resistance on the RSI. Now, for me, RSI is my favorite thing. I have it on my phone. It's just my favorite thing. And I just say it doesn't have to be everybody's, but for me, it's just my breakthrough. Now, identifying support and resistance on RSI. Remember, this zigzag line is line chart. It represents price as well. It's just that it's not in candlestick, but it represents price. Now, the RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, and it tells you who's dominating the market. Again, you all understand that in a market, there's only two people dominating the market, buyers or sellers. So you need to identify who's got more pressure than the other person. So the lines that you need to draw on this RSI, there's 5 lines, and all you need to do is click on the horizontal line, change the color to whatever color. I have written down, I think, black, and just make the line a bit thicker so it's visual for your eyes. Now, actually, I do a 50 line. I started doing this lately just for my new people to actually, you know, get used to separating that. So the 50 line is your halfway mark. So if I click on the 50 line, all you need to do, it doesn't have to be 50.00. Now, this is where your halfway point is, where now buyers and sellers are separated. And so you will actually see where price is. If price is above the 50, buyers are dominating the market. If price is below the 50, sellers are dominating the market. And so then you draw your other horizontal lines, and then now you can change it to black. So you can now have, you know, when you have your red line, it separates everything else, and it's more clear. So then you draw your 60 line. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, support and resistance is just a zone, an area. It doesn't have to be like 70.00. And then your 40 and your 30. And then your 30 line. So, all right, so that's what I do. And I have this on my phone as well. So you can add this on your phone, and it's really, really powerful. Like for me, it's very, 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 very helpful. Like if you're out and about, you can, you know, literally decide whether you're going to hold your trade for longer or get out of it. Now, in those rules, it says if price is above the 50 line, then buyers are dominating the market. If price is below, sellers are dominating the market. So if we look at, for example, look at this fresh trade here. This trade has been running now. If we look at where price is now, one thing, if this is a fresh trade and this candles here hadn't formed, I don't get into a trade. You will notice once you start using this scanner, once it tells you buy or sell, it always goes in the direction of what it's telling you to do. So a lot of the times, once you started, it will go in a buy direction, consolidate, and then continue in that momentum. So they could be, that's why it takes days. It takes like 2 or 3 days sometimes. Sometimes it just takes a day. The most of the pairs will consolidate for a few days. Now, I don't normally get in at the entry point myself, only because I used to find, yes, if you're happy to take your TP1 and you're happy with that target, that's great. But again, it depends on what your target goal is. And if you look at from entry to TP1, it's really about 50 points. Okay, this is GBP. So again, it's 100 points. Just to TP1, you've got 100 pips. That's a lot. Like, you don't even need to get to TP3. Like, you're getting 300 if you get to TP3. So you know, 100 pips in GBP, or sweet, and you're even down for the market for the day. Now, what I do though, I always wait till it's above the 50, because for me, it gives me that confirmation that there's the momentum of buyers dominating the market. So I will always wait for a candle to break my 50 line, open and close above my 50, then I get into it as a buy. That's all I do. So if I want to get into this trade, actually, I think I got into GBP USD on Monday. That's right, on Monday. So I got into it, and I'll always get into it above the 50 line. And all you need to do is just take it from, so if you look at where the 50 line is above on the candle, it'll be around just before the TP1 there. Yeah, around there. And you only just take it to maybe TP2. And again, you still got 100 pips. But for me, why I do that is because sometimes you get into early, and then it will start going in a direction, then it would retrace. Again, you can use your own analysis. The good thing about the scanner as well, you can use your own analysis of, you know, break of structure, break of, you know, zones, or whatever it is that you use for your own. You know, there's so many analysis that people use. So, you know, if you're happy with that, so if, like, for example, if you're using support and resistance and you were just looking at it literally on the chart, like for me, this GBP USD, I know it was rightly towards the trend line. So I'll just show you what I did on Monday, because I took it on Monday. And you'll find as well, there's some days that are really good on this. And Mondays tend to be good, crazily. Mondays, and then sometimes Thursday, not sometimes, most of the times Thursday, Friday are good. This week it's been really, really like good. There's been like pairs almost every day. So this was my markup. So what happened was I got in there, and you see like what I mean by reversals. If you're doing Leon strategy, you will draw your trend line. And of course, if price was here, because this is where I entered, if price was here, for example, like this is a trade that Leon, for example, would not take, because it doesn't meet his rules, right? But the harmonics will pick up reversal. So you see, it picked up that reversal, that moved towards that trend line, and that's 123 pips. For me, I'm good with that. Like, again, it's up to you. You have to make that decision, understanding that this is not a strategy that one, Leon would not take, because this does not meet his confirmation. Leon would wait for it to meet that trend line, then for it to drop. But again, it's entirely up to you. So I got in, I actually got out here. I got out of this trade over here, and I think that was on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, because there was news on Tuesday, and I got out. I got off there, and now it's now starting to drop. So it is so good in terms of you never, you know how like with smart money, and I believe you guys have started doing smart money, or I know Jordan, you do, and I don't know about anyone else. But with smart money, you notice that if you're waiting for the 3 touches on the trend line, if you had set your stops here, you'll all be out. You'll all been taken out, you know, because that's where all of us try and get in. So with the scanner though, we don't get caught up in that mess, because look at where they're entering. We're entering in the wrong places, like literally, like where a normal trader will not be getting in to catch that move. The bank will not catch that move too. They want to catch this whole thing down to wherever they want it to here. You know, whereas I'm just taking that small move. But again, at the end of the day, it's 123 pips. Pretty good. So that's what I did with GBP, and then I took UJ as well. UJ was the same thing as well, and that was on Monday as well. Same thing. Went to the trend line, and then it broke up. Same thing. Today I got on Euro USD, and no, I got into it yesterday. This is what I got into this here. See, again, where I get into it as well, I'll show you on the scanner as well. I always get on the 50 line. I never get in at the point. Like, say if someone is looking at smart money, maybe they will get in up here. But I will always get in. I don't care about a perfect entry myself. I'm just happy to meet my target. And again, everyone's different in their trading style. That's just me. But I always get in. I'm at 50 halfway point. Now we're 100 plus pips right now. Just going in. Okay, yeah, we're about 80 pips now. Just going from where I entered. So basically, I'll finish the rules anyway. So the 50 line is always my cutoff point for me to decide to enter, and then I'll pass and get my 100 pips, 50 pips, however much, and then sometimes I'll even hold, not sometimes, most times I even hold it to TP3. Again, if there's not a lot of in the market and I can potentially see that it's a good trade, I'll just hold it. I'll just hold it and just keep trailing it to however far it goes. Now, if price is sitting between 50 and 40, it's consolidation. Clearly, you can see here back in time, price, oh, is that 50 and 40? Yes. Price is just going sideways. So of course, you know, it's not the best place to be caught up in the market, but then just make sure your 50 line is your best friend. Because if you look even back in time, everywhere that, you know, if price is above the 50 line, you can see the candles that were formed were blue. If price now here, change of momentum, price started to come down, the candles that were formed were sell. So if you're in a buy trade, of course, it's obviously you would get out of it. If you're a scalper, of course, I mean, even if you're not a scalper and the market's going against you, you need to get out of the market. So again, 50-point cutoff, you'd come down, you get out of it anyway, because you can see the price, the momentum of it is changing completely. And then there's that consolidation mess. But again, you would have still made money here after the consolidation broke. That's the thing with the scanner as well. You can even find that they pick up the reversal patterns. If you go in a trading view and mark up your chart, you'll see that it's picking up all the moves, even in consolidation, like to just around that zone, like, until it breaks that structure of, either it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So again, for a professional trader, that's something they wouldn't be trading, but again, it comes down to what you want out of the market. For me, I just want to make money, to be honest. Like, everyone has their own goals, and I mean, I have a strategy which I'm happy about. I've done smart money and I have some understanding of it. I'm not an expert at it at all, but I know Leo strategy, and I use that. And again, I find it very hard for me to spend some time trading, because I have a team now, and it's very hard to be full on with them, and again, be full on with my trading. It's very time consuming for me. It's very hard. So I mean, not very hard, but it's very time consuming for myself. So yeah. And then the last rule is just the EMA. So EMA is you just go to indicators, and same thing as well. If price is above the 70, like, if price is sitting above the 70, most of the times it will continue to go up. But again, it's really looking at the RSI and just really seeing what price is doing. Because if you had like a fresh candle, a fresh trade like this, for example, if you had this on your phone, you can clearly see the price is below the 50 line. So if you're looking to get into it in a buy, I would patiently wait until it starts pushing momentum on the upside. Then I would get in if a candle closes above my zone, and then I'll get it to actually take it TP3 or to however far it goes. So if you have it on your phone, you'll be able to actually identify that again. And also understanding that when you mark up like this on the scanner, they all disappear. They don't save. So that's the important thing. And then the last thing was the EMA. So EMAs, you just add them on there. So exponential moving average, and it's the top one. So moving average exponential. So click on it once and click on it a second time. Now, if you go to settings and then you change it, the first one, you change it to 10. So increase the font to, not the font, then the length to 10. The style, make it to a visual blue. And this is it's like a scalp, it is a scalping line. And then change the opacity to 100%, so it's more visual, and make the line thick. So 100%, so you make the line thick so it's visual. So you can see that when we change the thickness, it added up. It's a lot more visual. It's this here, this line that's just added on the harmonics there. And then the second one, we just click on settings again, change it to red, make the line thick and visual. So we increase the opacity so it's dark, and then make it thick, and then we just change the input to 50, and then okay. Now, the red line is your trend line. You can clearly see it's showing you the trend of what's happening. If you add it, you can just really see what the market's doing. Even if you are looking at this trade here, you can see now it's going down. So it's showing you clearly exactly what is happening, really. And then now your blue line is now, if you're a scalper, it's your favorite line. Now I've written down that if price is above the blue line, it's a buy. If price is below the blue line, it's a sell. Now here you can see price went on a buy. Here there was a bit of I don't know what it was doing. It was kind of indecisible what's happening. Again, it continued the buying momentum because buyers were pushing. And then now here, price started to move down below your blue line. So of course, if you're in a buy and the price, you can see candles open and closing below, I mean, I would be looking at getting out of it and, considering to either sell if you're a scalper. Of course, if you do a 15-minute chart, you can actually just close and sell. If you were buying, for example, if you bought it here, now you can see changing momentum, you can sell it and catch that move there, So that's what that line is for. Especially, it's really more beneficial for scalpers. But again, someone who's an intraday trader or swing trader, they don't worry about those moves, because again, they'll hold their trade for a little bit longer, regardless of the retracements and everything else that happens in the market. So, because those things are bound to happen. So basically, when I get into a trade first, before I get into a trade, I'll just check what it is, and then I just go and mark up on my trading view. That's what I always do. And then of course, checking what the scanner is telling you to do. And then I look at my 50 line and just watch if price is not above the 50. So when I'm looking at the scanner, for example, I will look at something that is close to my 50 line, because for me, that's a confirmation that it's a ready chart for me to execute, because I don't like to get in at entry point Like I wouldn't get in a trade like this. Personally, I don't get into a trade like this because you can see like this is a sell. Now it's sold in the first candle. Now I don't know what it's doing. It's got its own thing. Because again, remember, it's momentum. It's they're still trying to decide who's dominating the market. So I don't like going through that mess. I'll just wait patiently until it gives me a confirmation under the 50 line, and then I'll get in. Euro card, for example, I think some of my guys were talking about this today on the chat. Yes, so there you go. So if you would have sold this even on the 50 line, halfway point there, without even you executing at the top at the entry point. Sorry, I just need to move this out of the way a bit. Without you see how you know how when you enter entry, you entered consolidation, it moved on a down consolidation, and then it broke. So for me, I choose not to go through that. But again, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. You can go through that if you want. But I just patiently wait to just get to the 50. So if you waited to where the 50 is, if we look at up here where it was, if you would have entered in this candle here, still have a decent, you have 60 pips, close to 60 pips. I mean, pretty good, to be honest. And it's probably going to drop. It's going to, if you look at, like, let's look at Euro card on the, on this thing here, if I don't have it. But all I do then, I'll just go and find Euro card and see what it's doing. And just with the analysis, whichever analysis that you use, it don't matter. Euro card, yeah. So if I look at this, what's this thing doing? I don't even know what it's doing. Let me just move you guys to the bottom here. Oops. All right. I'm trying to see what trend it's doing at the moment. I would have a key level there anyway, even if I can't really even see a trend, to be honest. I can't see a trend myself, but I would have a key level around there if I was doing Leon strategy anyway. And you see, like, what I mean, like, it doesn't pick up the core, like, I hope you guys get it, the proper strategy. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't pick up, it picks up all the reversals, like everything that is like a professional trader will not take. If that makes sense. I guess, you know, I think it makes sense. Like, you can see, yeah, there's not a proper trend. Like, can you guys see a proper trend? Because I can't really see a proper trend. I don't even know what it looks like.
I can't see a trend, but like looking at it from my perspective with TradeIce, I would say that it's bearish because it's broke structure. But other than that, then yeah, I can't really see anything either.
Yeah. So yeah, because if I was looking at Leon strategy, I cannot see anything. And even like, yeah, even if you went on maybe if you went on a higher time frame, you could probably see better. You see now on a higher time frame, I don't even know what it's doing. It looks like it's going sideways, you know. Look at it here. Like, it looks like it's all trapped in a zone, you know. And again, you zoom in and zoom out. I mean, it's just weird. Even if I were to draw a trend, if West came to West and not West came to West, if I really pushed it, like, that's not even a correct trend, but, you know, you would be looking at something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it would be riding till there, you know, like, because then you have your key level. What did I do? I think I drew my key level around there. Anyway, that's a good key level there anyway. And then you'd be riding it, you know, till down there to confirm the touch on the trend line to respect the trend line. But again, you know, George said, you know, you're seeing a downward trend. So either way, the trend line doesn't confirm a downward trend. It looks like you're riding it to the trend line to then catch an uptrend. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah. Well, not quite. Unless I would have to move that trend line away a little bit to, you know, that, yeah, you get what I'm saying anyway, guys. It just, my point is that it's not, maybe, something like that. Yeah, now that looks correct, actually. That looks something right. Yeah, so then you'd be riding it to that trend line there. And again, it's a sell, so you know, yeah, so you can see the TP of it is 1.5107. So again, those rules, to be honest, if you have a strategy, those rules, the only rule I would insist on is RSI. Divergence to someone who has a strategy, don't really matter, because at the end of the day, if you're happy with your whatever your goal is, you know, if you do pips, if you do percentage, if you do dollars, everyone does their own thing, to be honest. But again, you know, whatever it is that you do, as long as you you have a goal, you get to your goal, and if you're happy, that's it, you know. So basically that's that, really, to be honest.
Sweet. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So just to confirm then, like, so for example, with that trade there on the screen, if you were to have entered that, it wouldn't have been straight away when like the D point was connected. You would have waited for price to be below the blue line and crossing the 50 high.
Even this EMAs, I don't really use them because I'm not a scalper. So
Right.
you could use them as well, but my favorite thing is the RSI. Before I execute a trade, I always just do my RSI first. Like, of course, I don't do the support and resistance, because of course I know how to set my targets. You know, you don't have to use a stop loss that's set on the scanner. You can set your own stop loss and your own TPs as well. So of course, once you're able to do that, for a new person, of course, they don't know that stuff, so they need to figure it out. If you enter a TP1, you need to set your 2% risk or 1% of your stop loss, whatever you want to put it, whether it's 10 pips or 20 pips, so above where you entered, and then write it to whatever you want to write it to. But personally, my first thing before I execute a trade is my RSI. I will not enter a trade that has not gone to that zone of the 50. Like, for example, like Euro USD yesterday had already, it just kind of shot down. I'll just show it on this kind of look at it. So it is such a clean trade, like easy. And I know that some people were trying to trade this. The people that trade smart money, they had done their own, when someone in the chat had done their own markups about this on, I think, earlier in the week, and it just kept going higher. It kept going. It didn't drop. They were speculating for it to go down, but it didn't. And then it went down yesterday. So again, you can see the accuracy of it at the end of the day. I mean, Euro USD, to catch a move like this, it's a clean ass. Like, even if you got in below your 50 there, you can see below your 50 is just around there. At that point where it broke, and you've got, you know, this kind of says 100 pips, but yeah, give or take 100 pips. That's clean, like, you know, and it's pretty accurate, you know. So yeah, it's pretty good. And the blue line, to be honest, George, that's really focused on if you are already in a trade and you kind of want to just keep cruising on it without, you know, if you're not seeing candles moving above your blue line, then you hold it. But what I do, if you've got the EMAs on your phone, and I can send you a video that I've done to just add the EMAs on your phone, and you start seeing that it is very helpful, because if you're out and about, you can actually just see where price is at and then decide to keep holding it for longer. And, you know, you could just hold it for, and you can see right now, it's, even if there's some retracement, it's on, if you look at it on the chart, it's got potential to really drop, like Euro USD, however long it takes, but it's got potential to really, you know, if it breaks this point here, it's got potential to drop quite low, you know.
Yeah,
but again,
yeah.
it's just
No,
a matter of time. Yeah. So that's what I do, guys. But I always do my own analysis, what I can see on the market. I just don't buy sell because it's telling me buy sell. But to be honest, with those rules, you can really just buy sell, especially for a new person who, so like my guys, I teach them to just start off with the scanner, but then as they learn a strategy, and then they're using it, the scanner, like your, you know, your practice tool to buy and sell, because, you know, sometimes you don't even know what to buy or what to sell. And even if you're using Leon strategy, it's very hard to decide when to decide to get in the market. That's the hardest part. You can mark it up, but you're like, when do I get in? When do I hit that buy, or when do I hit that sell? It's the hardest part. Which candle do I get into? And then you hit into that candle, then it goes against you, hits your stop, or then it's consolidating before then it drops again, and then your emotion is all messed. You're pissed off. By the time it drops, you're an angry person, you know. So yeah, so yeah.
Sweet. Has anyone else got any questions, girls? Kane, you got anything that you didn't quite understand? No?
I'll just ask what your favorite pattern is, so what one usually is the best?
To be honest, Zoe, the patterns, I know Shaq is a very favorite one, but I stopped focusing on patterns, to be honest, only because like okay, so Euro USD. Let's just check what I did this week. I did Euro USD, I did Euro JPY, that's deep crab. I did NZD USD, that's another one. And I did 4. I'm pretty sure I did 4. Oh yes, and I'm currently in Euro. So I did GBP USD. That is a different one. Euro USD and UJ. Where is UJ? Is that H1? Yeah. And then obviously when a trade is finished, it takes it off. But if it hasn't hit take profit, it doesn't take it off. So it will be sitting there for, however long it gets to TP3 or it gets to TP4. So like, for example, look at this now. This was a clean, I got out of this anyway. But, of course you can see now it's consolidating, but it will get to TP3. But are you happy to hold it through that mess? If you've met your target, get out, at the end of the day. Yeah. But like you see, like what I'm saying, if you entered it buy, look at it. It was such a clean, straight setup. Like just, so if you're happy and you've got your confirmations that would actually allow you to make that execution to get in at entry point and you're happy with your own analysis, pounds, like definitely go for it. But I just choose not to, just for my own peace sakes, to be honest. So you see, I got in around there and, just there, and I got out around up here. So if we look above here would be around, around there to there. I mean, pretty good. Like, you couldn't ask for more. Even holding through that, you're really just being pretty greedy. Like, it's really not worth it. But anyway, you see, all my patterns are different. So I don't focus on the patterns so much. But again, at the beginning, to be honest, I've had my girls say that, they find that if they trade a certain pattern, it doesn't work. They tried this, it doesn't work. But I think it's what energy you put towards that thing. Seriously, I think so. Like, if you say shacks don't work, honey, shacks are never going to work. Yeah. So maybe don't focus on the patterns so much, because again, it's really irrelevant. And one thing I always say is journal all the things that you do, like journal the CAD-J. I used to always write CAD-J shack, then I will know. And then I'll also write if it's got divergence, because then when I look back, I can see that, this had divergence. It went into TP3, but this was at the time, remember as well, this was at the time when I did not even know what goals are in trading. It was money chase. Like it was literally, I want to get a TP3, and again, everyone has their own goals, to be honest. It's not whatever makes you happy and whatever, I believe that, it's not a competition of who's the best trader. I'm not a good trader personally, but I know how to make money. And I think that gives me peace. And I have a strategy that, I can learn if I was not in my life. And that's why, I'm grateful for this kind of, because again, it's a skill that it's a tool that people undermine, that is free, and people are paying for others, that this thing is so good. Once you use it over time, you will notice that it's really good. Just being patient with it as well, because of course you're new to it, and just know that you just demo everything. Seriously, even if you just go into the different brokers, browse through it, and you'll find that the different brokers sometimes have the same pair, sometimes have different. But again, just execute buying, selling, buying, selling, and then you start now tracking that process and seeing, okay, I bought it from entry. Wow, this went in my direction. So what I'll be doing, I just enter and get 10 pips. There's people who just do 10 pips, like 10 pips only. But again, they have a higher lot size. So again, it's you deciding to do that. But 10 pips with 0.10, even 20 pips, you're flying. You don't need to have 100 pips. But again, everyone is different. So you have to do according to what your goal is and what works for you. But it's really just, even if I say I don't enter at 50, doesn't mean jack shit. You enter if it suits you. If you're happy to enter at entry point, man, you will notice all of them. At entry point, they move. Very few, sometimes, of course, they'll go against you. You'll see, okay, what's this? This was a buy. Yeah, it's still moving. You see, they slow coach. They really slow coach, but they get there eventually. Like this has been 24th of June. Okay, that was yesterday. Not too bad, but it's a whole day. It's still going sideways, and tomorrow's Friday. Like, so you should have moved. But again, it's the pairs, AUD and ZD. I mean, AUD CAD, like, it's slow pairs. But again, what was I saying? yeah, most of them, to be honest, you see like this, if you entered an entry, look at that, you held it TP3, you've met your target. Look at this USD card, clean setup, like till take profit 3, it does exactly what it tells you to do. It's free money, like literally in your eyes. Free money. Like you just have to, you know, even if you get in at 50 points, you've only lost a little bit. You've lost, like, by the time, sometimes though, you also notice that it depends on the pair. Some pairs have, you know how like this you can see has a lot of candles. Some of them it only has like from entry TP1, TP2, TP3. This is up to TP3, and it will just go straight to TP3. So it doesn't even give you a chance to wait to get to the halfway point of the 50 mark if you're buying. But again, move on. There's always going to be a probability, but you obviously spot that over time when you start using it, and you'll be like, oh well, but Ivy says that you need to get in at 50, but this thing just kind of hit TP3 in like that. So that's where again you can set pending orders as well. That's another thing as well. I was getting those questions a lot because most people were saying that, okay, because again, people who are new have no patience, you know, they just want to make money. So my guys were like, oh, I entered it and I know you know, by the time I enter it, it's already gone to TP3. So I'm like, okay, maybe set a pending order. You can set a buy stop. I think this is a buy stop, isn't it? Is it a buy stop? Yeah, it wouldn't be a limit.
Yeah, no,
yeah, it would be a buy stop, isn't it?
Yeah, because a limit, it would have to come down and
come down. Yeah, so you just set a sell stop or a buy stop. So you'd set a buy stop at TP2, at entry 2, sorry, if there's 2 entries. And then also when I was, the guy told me if you have 2 entries, the best entry to enter is the second entry. This guy is an expert trader. He is, I think he's an 8-figure trader. He's been trading for a while. He started with David Imoniti. He's very good. Clarence Gatlin, he's very good, but did not teach people anything else. Of course, you know, he reasons best known to him, but he only teaches people this kind of. But yeah, he is a good trader, and that's all he teaches everyone in his team. So again, it's a good thing, but it doesn't empower you to become. You can learn the strategy of this kind of and start drawing it on Trading if you want. You know, like now Gamma has started doing, because he's loving it so much. Now he's starting to do the patterns. Now he's learning how to draw the patterns and drawing it on TradingView. So you can go in depth to actually learn the strategy itself. But if you already have an existing strategy, just use it to get you from A to B. Compound your account. Again, compounding your account. It doesn't matter whether you're using Smart Money, Trade House, whatever. Yeah, Leon strategy, Harmonics. Your account will grow. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other questions?
I think I'm all good personally. If anyone else has got anything, then
I was just going to say, like, you know, is that always going to be your entry sort of around that?
Say that again.
You know where the letter D is?
Yes.
Is that always going to be around your entry?
Yes.
That's what that indicates, yeah?
That's, yeah. So where point D, if the candle, say for example, you got into a trade and it's heat take profit 1, it's still not too late to get into it. But again, you have to do your own analysis, whether it's break of structure or break of, you know, a zone. Like I would, you know, I'm not so good at the break of structure. I think break of structure is a Smart Money language, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just look at that zone. If, you know, if say for example, it had already heat take profit 1 and I'm like, oh, this looks like a good trade, let's wait and see. I would wait if it doesn't break obviously below my area. Say for example, you were here, it's just going to here and you're like, oh, should I buy, should I wait, should I what? Of course, you know, if it doesn't break your zone, of course, it's just really being patient to wait for the candles that are next to be formed. And then if they don't break below your zone here, then of course you'd consider a buy. And then saying that as well, you look at your RSI, because you can clearly see, even if those consolidation, the price was sitting nicely just above, you know, your 50 lines. So then you would just pounce on it and you'd still catch that. And even if you're not so sure, you could let that until you're just seeing a proper momentum. You could just wait for that consolidation. So for example, you're here, then you're seeing all this candle, you're not so sure, and just wait for a proper strong candle, like, you know, a strong bullish candle, and then get into that. And you'd still catch a decent amount of pips to the top. So yeah. But again, pending orders, you know, give them a shot. Pending orders would give you the whole cake, not even a little bit, the whole of it. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to try this out. Actually,
Yeah.
I am excited to try it out.
Yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's I mean,
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
it's great. I think you personally, out of experience, it's definitely great. And especially for people who are good traders, you guys will just be like, wow, this is like a walk in the park, like literally. Yeah.
And the thing is, every example you've pulled up on here seems to be like bang on. I don't know whether that's just pure luck, but every example you've gone on has been like,
Yeah, it's pretty
you know what I
good.
mean? Like,
It is pretty good, to be honest. Like
yeah,
this, look at that. That is a sell, like for real. Like, you know, it is free money, like free, literally, you know.
that's a lot.
And you see, you don't see the crazy weeks happening. You see what I mean by smart money? You don't see the crazy weeks because we're not doing support and resistance like, you know, retail, like, you know, we are retail traders, but we're not doing a trend line zone. We're just picking up the opposite moves of what's happening. I mean, this GBP card dropped like mad, but again, you know, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
definitely, guys, give it a shot and see how you go. I hope it works for you. I know it will. Just be patient with it. It will work. It will definitely, and you will actually see you'll stop trading more. If you were trading more, like for me at the beginning, I was trading more, and now I don't trade anymore. Like I don't trade a lot. Yeah, that's the right word. I'm not trading a lot, and again also because I'm not doing M15. M15 I was trading a heck lot, you know, because again it's shorter time frames, but and I didn't have goals, you know, chasing money. So yeah. All
Sweet.
right.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you very
thank
much.
you,
I've really enjoyed that.
Pleasure,
thank you so
guys.
much.
Pleasure. Yes, it is recorded, darling. It is recorded. I will stop the share and I will send. I'll actually stop the recording, and I hope it was recording. Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
it was.